Well, I was actually doing research, just trying to find answers, and actually came across upper cervical care. And as I started doing more research on that, I actually came across NUCA. And I did more research, and I went on the NUCA website, and I came across a couple of names, and Dr. Imana's name was actually one of, I think, two in the city that actually performed this procedure. And I actually gave him a call, and we spoke, and actually consulted with other upper cervical care providers as well, different specialties, and just to see what my options were. And I ended up feeling the most comfortable with Dr. Imana, and I gave him a call and set up an appointment. So I was actually dealing with a lot of issues. Starting when I was 16, I started getting these headaches. They were mild at first, but over the years they started building. It just felt like this intense pressure in this area of my head, like somebody was just squeezing it and not letting go. At the same time, it just felt like somebody kept pumping air into my head and it wanted to burst. But at the same time, it also felt like something was clamping down on my head from the outside and squeezing in at the same time. And throughout the years, that got worse. And then it started being accompanied by dizziness, where I felt really unstable wherever I went. Anytime I stood up, I got dizzy. Moving my head side to side made me dizzy. I started getting really bad anxiety attacks, like bad panic attacks, where it just always felt like something was wrong. I had really, really bad fatigue where I would sleep 10, 11, 12 hours a day and still not feel rested. I would walk a block and feel exhausted. I also had digestion problems where I would have really bad sugar levels, I guess. I would start shaking, my stomach would hurt. I couldn't really tolerate food anymore. I had insomnia problems. I had tingling in my hands and feet. I can't even remember. There's so many problems. And those were the ones that I could remember and I could identify at the time. But there were also other issues I didn't even know existed until I went under NUCA care and things got better. I didn't even know there were problems. So, overall, it was just everything you can think of. It got to the point where I was bedridden at my worst. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't function. I also had this really bad vision problem as well, where I couldn't really focus and concentrate on things. And looking at a computer, reading, looking at my phone, even for a minute, became intolerable, where it gave me these excruciating headaches. I would start feeling really dazed and disoriented, like I didn't know where I was or what I was thinking or where I was going. And that prevented me from doing any of those activities. And I ended up just becoming non-functional. I was just up there, just sitting in my chair every day. And so besides that, there were a lot of other things, but those were the main ones. I think I've tried everything there is to try, anything humanly possible. I started off with going the conventional medical route. I went to different doctors, different specialists. One by one, I made my way through the medical community, from neurologists and endocrinologists to gastroenterologists, just anything and everyone you can think of. I had all kinds of tests done. I've had MRIs, brain MRAs, I've had CAT scans, I've tried vestibular rehab, physical therapy. I just went through every option there was to go to, medically speaking. And when they couldn't find anything or tell me how they could help me, I tried nutrition and lifestyle changes. So I tried taking things into my own hands. I tried different diets. I went vegan, I went gluten-free, I went sugar-free, I went grain-free. I tried every possible diet you can think of. And then those helped superficially, but not too much. And then I started trying different cleanses, like juice cleanses, fasting, liver cleanses, kidney cleanses, any kind of cleanse you can think of, and tried all different kinds of supplements. Just weird things you probably wouldn't think of ingesting, I've tried. And those things didn't really help either, so I started looking for alternative therapies. I've tried acupuncture. Actually been to 5 different acupuncturists. Tried traditional Chinese medicine, Chinese herbal medicine, just anything you can think of, craniosacral therapy, the list goes on and on. I've tried going to see psychics to see if maybe they could see something, maybe I was cursed or something, I don't know. At this point I was desperate. I just tried everything there was to try. I went to see Reiki healers, just anything you could think of. And none of it helped, and at this point I didn't know what to do. Ironically though, I actually never tried chiropractic throughout all the search for my answers, and I guess I ended up saving the best for last. My experience with Dr. Imana has been phenomenal. I mean, what can I say? He saved my life both figuratively and literally. He saved my life figuratively in the sense that he actually gave me a life back. Prior to finding Dr. Imana, I was, at the end of the road. I was bedridden. I had no other options. I couldn't think of anything. Nobody had an answer for me. I didn't know what to do. And, I was non-functional. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. And he's given me my life back. I've been able to go back to work now. I've been able to function like a normal person. I mean, I'm not completely 100%, but I would say I'm at least 80-85% from where I used to be. And it's just the quality of life is something I could have never even fathomed before. And Dr. Imana saved my life literally, because by this point I had reached my lowest point. I didn't know what else to do. I did everything I thought there was to do, and there seemed to be no more hope. And I had just gotten to the point where I came to the realization that I couldn't go on living like this anymore. It's just too hard. I wasn't sad, I wasn't depressed or anything. It was just really, really hard. And I reached the point where I decided that if nothing changed, that I would just kill myself. And this wasn't a joke, or this wasn't just, me being a brat. It was real. Like, I actually planned it. I looked into life insurance policies. I started thinking about what I was going to do with my possessions. I started planning letters I was going to write to my loved ones, and I had just reserved myself to the fact that this was going to be how my life was going to end up. And I decided that NUCA would be the last thing I would try, and that if it didn't help, that I would just do what I needed to do. And thank God, I found Dr. Imana, and here I am now, so I can't thank him enough. I would definitely recommend NUCA and Dr. Imana to anybody who's looking for an answer to any of their problems, whether big or small. I'm not saying this just because I'm biased. It definitely was the one thing that ever helped me, but I'm also saying this from a patient's perspective, and I like to consider myself a fairly objective person. I try to research anything I try before I try it, whether it's conventional medicine, nutrition, alternative therapy, anything I try to research it as much as I can, learn as much as I can about it, and try to understand the underlying philosophies and principles behind it. My feeling is that if I'm going to try something, I want to know how it works and why it works, and not just try it because somebody says they tried it. And throughout my experiences, I've come to realize that there are a lot of treatments out there, but none of them really got to the core of the problem for me as to why it was happening. An example of this is Botox injections you can get in your neck and in your facial muscles that release the tension in your muscles and are supposedly able to help with headaches. While that seemed good on the surface, it never explained to me why I was getting headaches in the first place. Why were the muscles in my neck spasmed in the first place? It might take away some of the symptoms, but it never explained to me why that was. And for me, I've come to realize, or at least believe, that things in your body shouldn't go wrong if there's nothing there pathologically or there's no trauma to your body at that moment. Things should just function the way they're meant to function. And none of these other therapies ever really explained that to me until I came across NUCA, which started to make perfect sense, because you're talking about a vital part of your body. This is your brain and your body connection, and it just made a lot of sense that if something was off there, it could throw everything else off. And just tried it, and it just helped, and it did wonders. The one thing I wanted to add, if I could add something, would be that, at the end of the day, a technique is just that, a technique. While NUCA is very powerful at what it does, at the end of the day, it's just a tool. I feel like what's equally as important as the technique itself is the practitioner, the person who's administering it. And I can't say enough about Dr. Imana and what he's been able to do for me. He's well equipped in the technical aspects of the technique. He understands it completely. He knows exactly what he's doing in that aspect. But beyond that, he's more than that. He understands all the other parts involved when it comes to healing, whether it's the emotional side, the mental side, and even the spiritual side. And I don't think I could have found anyone better to guide me through this journey, I guess I can say. I've reached out to a lot of other doctors before and just never felt that connection the way I do with Dr. Imana. You can tell instantly that he cares about his patients a lot, and it just means a lot to me. And he's become more than just a doctor over the years. He's become my friend over this course of this year and a half it's been, and just can't say enough about Dr. Imana and what he's done for me. And if you're looking for an answer, I would just implore you to just reach out to him and just see how you feel, and just see if there's any connection and how you feel when you see him. And whatever the case may be, you'll know what's best for you, and I think you'll know when you speak to Dr. Imana. And just wanted to say that I hope this video helps, that it serves as an inspiration, that to give you an idea of the possibilities of what's out there, and hopefully plant the seed for you to do some more research. Obviously, that's the most important part, even for me now.